That's why we welcome you to another edition of the program Sitting Inside Salone. We reach you live from the frequency 107.3 FM Radio Monitorial. Inside today's edition of the program, I get the Director Communication and Public Relations na Statistics Sierra Leone, or you can say Stats Sierra Leone, Stats SL. We na Samuel Ansumana. Good evening, welcome to the program. Thank you very much. Today we can discuss about the statistics Sierra Leone, the book one, and similar to the president, following the president's proclamation that statistics Sierra Leone will conduct the first midterm population and housing census in Sierra Leone, and December 4th, now the tenure then be done declare. We then declare say it will be the census night. So the activities will make this possible. The Director of Communication and Public Relations, they talk for the Statistics SL, who can tell you much more. Stay with me at the program. The number you can send the program, your contribution to now 078-330-167, 078-330-167. Once more, good evening to the program, Mr. Ansumana.
Thank you very much.
If we talk about anything but statistics here alone, listeners them out there go on for exactly within tie statistics here alone as an institution in the country.
Okay, as per the Statistics Act of 2002, where we establish we as an institution, because every institution as alone, every MDA, ministry, department, agency get own roles and responsibilities, So Statistics alone, now the official body in a salon, we're responsible for the collection, compilation, analysis, evaluating, and also the collection, of data, socioeconomic data related to people in the country. All right. Now we do censuses as per the Census Act of 2002. Now we're responsible for the censuses. Now we do lots of surveys, the demographic and health survey. Now we do them. It's an integrated household survey. Now the poverty survey in the country, where they look at the housing conditions of the country, the household survey. Now we do one. Demographic and health survey, basically they look at the health conditions. Now one of the biggest surveys now the one of the world, and they do them almost in all countries of the world. Now we do one as alone. We do the annual economic survey of enterprises. We do the COVID impact monitoring survey where we just done. We almost done now. For check the impact of COVID on Sierra Leone. So we get the multiple indicator cluster survey and another survey we do. So lots of things that we play too, we do, and we collaborate on most of these with people. Now, apart from their routine activities and the way we do, we also get situations where people in the contract then the contract we for their surveys, all right? We get, as we talk right now, we get a survey on the pipeline. The Teaching Service Commission one for the contract we for that day. Similar the place people the contract we, NACSA contract we for do. For them, we get an MOU. Now we've been in charge of the test. The proxy means test. We've been implement the social safety net project and also the emergency cash transfer. So we do lots of things, but until you come close, you're not going to know exactly what they do. A lot of people in Kijab say a census no more, not so just census. Okay, we do lots of other things in
terms of research,
yes,
and also the data. All right, okay. Now, you be the talk. You mentioned several surveys we do. One, you get highlights the demographic survey, and also the one we get for do with the COVID-19 survey. Let's get into the nitty-gritties of the survey there. Within exactly, is it that them all they provide the same indicators?
Well, the indicators are different. The indicators are different for all of the surveys. The one thing we're clear now that we get similar characteristics in almost all of the surveys we do. Like for the face, it's a integrated household survey. It will tell you about the poverty indicators of the country, how many people in well, as for the last one, poverty, they had 56% of the country, 56% of the country. Now, so poverty, they in the poorest country, poorest region or district, the poorest district, now, Tonkolili. As per the 2018 Salone Integrated Household Survey. So we did touch on lots of indicators. We talk on health, we could talk on how the household and how people in the live, all of them things, and then they want to do do that. The position of government and other people, other partners then really responsible for improvement development of the country, for making them get an idea of what they happen, and then plan as per that for make actually then push the country go before.
Right, okay. So now when I get the highlights on the indicators then, when it comes to the demographic survey, which are the key indicators then actually?
Okay. Now the demographic and health survey, health basically the paramount indicator on health, right? They look at health of people in the country, health of children, status of some diseases in the country like malaria, within the status. Of course, as for the past they get the DHS will get every 5 years, all right? The last one, the DHS will be 2018. The next one they will get in 2023. So now every 5 years we get DHS, all right? The previous one, the previous two we don't get because we also didn't get in 2013. The previous one, the two previous one they don't get, and also 2008. The previous one they all don't get. They show say, and that also will not come as a surprise. The biggest killer. Na malaria, all right? Then you also give indicators on other health issues, HIV, hepatitis, lots of other diseases, pressure, how people, lots of other diseases really give indicators. So if you want to really know about the health condition of Sierra Leone, the best report for look at the demographic and health survey. We don't do that day. We don't publish for 2019. We don't publish the key indicator reports. The DHS 2019. We don't publish the key indicator report for them. We just bring into the fore the key takeouts, from the report. Then we go to the point where we're going to launch the full report this year. We'll capture everything. The key indicator report, not just like the key findings. We'll go publish. Then we'll now get the full report. We'll go publish where everybody will get to know the Ministry of Health, and they will partner with on this as always. And then go publish the report. The findings.
The issue of when you want to conduct research or when you try to get a particular data on a particular something like, for example, the demographic and the health survey. Sometimes people can say, then they do the survey there, but maybe they ever see person they come around for ask me, then kind of question. Is it that you get a particular set of people per a survey?
Okay, all right. Very good question. A survey by survey, all right? And a survey by definition na a sample of a whole, not the whole, na a sample of a whole, all right? Okay. So normally when they conduct surveys, na a sample, with a sample, like when you get a sampling frame, all right? So you take part of a whole. Say for example, you want to conduct like sleaze, for example, all right? In a household survey. So you're not able to target, because a survey, you target all of the households in the country. But you target a representative of the households, all right? So, for example, you get a rich household, you want to look at how they live, you get an average household, you get a poor household. So, you get an average, and you get a sample, all right? You get an household with a businessman, the leader. You get an household with a Okada person, the leader. You get an household with a lawyer. You get an household with a doctor. So, you sample, all right? So, because now is survey, you know, reach every nook and cranny in the country, or every household in the country. All right. So almost all surveys we conduct, we get a sampling frame. All right. We get the number of people with the sample. All right. Sometimes there can be 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 people of the whole population. We're representative of the whole population. That is different sets of the population. All right. Now, only when we do censuses, all right, because the census, now we dey attempt for count everybody in the country or reach every household in the country. All right.
Okay.
But for surveys, the reason make some people can say they're not reach to them, or something you see the report, they're not reach to you and everything, because we get a sampling frame,
Okay.
all right, where they work with, and because there is survey, by default, you're not going to reach everybody, we'll just reach to that sample. So, for example, if you're a teacher, when we get a teacher, now the sample, for the representative of the views of the teachers.
All the teachers.
All right? Yes. If we get
But sometimes the view of that particular teacher can be different of the other.
well, not true. You're correct. The view can be different. So, and that basically means that we say teacher now just one person. We will get several teachers now the sampling frame.
Okay.
All right. But for say we reach, if now 100,000 teachers in the country, we reach all 100,000. It's not possible. All right, because now it's survey. All right, now it's survey, not a census. Or
Okay, the same challenge can happen for census.
Yeah.
Mostly like the last discussion where you get hard to reach areas, hard to reach places.
Yeah.
Like we get the fakai, we be say for going inside is not trouble. How not able for get the results then we go include them into our data.
Okay. Hard to reach areas don't be a problem for almost all countries in Africa where you can to censuses, because not only you ask about censuses, it don't become a problem, and we define ways and means as always for reaching. Use bicycles, use okadas, try for also employ people for walk on foot, for going out to reach communities and they were inaccessible, road network poor and all of that. We did try, it's a difficult thing for do, all right? But we did try as always so we actually able to reach 10 communities in there, because it is that as always, easy at all, all right? Easy at all. We always try level best to make we reach, then add to each community.
So how we can come into a conclusion saying that the number of people in this way they live in the country?
Well, first and foremost, that is for the previous census, right?
Yeah.
We did try for it. So first and foremost, what we do is we try as best as we can for make we monitor, all right, the enumerators, because see what you mean at the enumerators, they go on at the field, all right? We they assign them to enumeration areas. By the way, enumeration area now like a known place with a known name, like a locality, all right, where gets at least between 80 to 120 households in a one enumeration area. So, for example, for Bay College, if you check all of the hostels were there, or all of the quarters were there, if you reach 80 to 120 households, all right, houses or households, then they can be one enumeration area. Okay, so then the enumeration area, place where get a distinct name and get at least between 80 to 120 households and a one enumeration area. So we depend on the enumeration, the enumerators then for make them give the correct information. That's not one. Secondly, we get monitors where we send with them. All right, where they go, supervisors and the monitors and the other people in the civil society and the rest of the bring can at the process for make yourself monitor. All right, but as we get along in the discussion, all that challenge will be they get in the past. You go realize this particular project will get way upcoming. We'll go for can talk about. It going to be very different from the rest.
Okay.
In terms of monitoring, accuracy, credibility, and everything. We'll come and talk about as we get along.
Okay, Samuel Amsumana, Director of Communication and Public Relations, now Statistics Leone. Now, you don't do some little bits how we can get and challenge more to the hard to reach areas then. But sometimes when they conduct census, people can say the time frame can be very, very small. Where in Sotelekona can say from this period to this period, and now we will conduct the statistics. Some can even say even a free tongue we are not able to count everybody in a free tongue because the time frame is small.
Okay. So now the time frame for we don't feel say it's small. Most of
the initiator or not from the government?
No, now we determine the time.
Okay.
All right. Now we determine the time based on the available resources we get. Human resources we get.
Okay.
Based on the logistics available and other factors as well. Okay. So the time frame of a census all across the world, you know, easily exceed 3 weeks. You know, easy. Because you recruit enumerators based on the number of enumeration areas you get in the country.
Okay.
So when you do cartographic mapping basically now like a quick count of the households then. Now based on that count of the household within the communities, then you do map the country. All right. So when you map the country, next up what you do now you can create your enumeration areas. So for example, if you get 20,000 enumeration areas in the country, all right, places and localities that will get at least 80 to 120 households, you split them, you 20,000, it means that you will get up to 20,000 enumerators, because the number of enumeration areas when you get now will determine the number of people that will employ for work. So you know they get 10,000 enumeration areas, you get 8,000 enumerators. No, if a match, because at least one enumerator for cover one enumeration area, okay, right, within the two week period or 3 week period when you do the census. Because when you send people in go to the field, everybody gets inside where they go. So this is like a situation where this person come here, they go here and go, okay, this come here, go here. When this, when you do the teaming, all right, when you do the deployment, everybody will be deployed outside the work. So for example, if you do for college, let's just get an example, all right? If we collect that one enumeration area, if a census starts on the 1st and end on the 14th or 15th, all right? From that 1st to that 15th, you are an enumeration, you are an enumerator. You are assigned to Fobe College Enumeration Area, EA. You're supposed to cover all the households within a Fobe College from the 1st to the 15th. Okay? So that's so it will work. What's your situation where sometimes you don't do Fobe College, it's okay. Low send you go na Savage Square. Okay. Or low send you go na Ginger Hall. Or low send you go na Fobe. No, you understand? Or low send you go Mount area. Don't Mount area, no. Not so it will work.
So how many households by enumeration area?
80 to 120 households, at least 80. If you get a place, we get at least 80 households, up to 80 houses or households. That place can be one enumeration area. So from 80, it can be 90, it can be 80, it can be 90, it can be 100, it can be 110, it can be 120. As you pass 120, you reach 121, all right? You're supposed to create another enumeration area, another place there. So for example, you get towns, let's say Moyamba, for example, like Moyamba as an example, Moyamba, all right? If you take one, you count households 80 to 120. Certainly Moyamba get past 120 households, all right? So when you don't count 80 to 120, also you stop in 120, the next area they begin count for the second enumeration area. Okay. All right? So for example, like Freetown, Freetown gets several enumeration areas, okay? Which are this for the college going down to model can be one enumeration area, all right? Because you get Baku households there. You can take tea planting, all right? Tea planting will be one enumeration area or even several enumeration areas, because you get 80, you will get above maybe 120, 150, 180 households then within itself, all right? We take Leicester, Gloucester. Right, then small villages, you will must get places where go either each one get 80 to 120 or in the above. So they reach 180 to 120 exactly between 80 to 120 and one. If they pass down there, as you go 121, now you need to create a second enumeration area there.
Okay, Mr. Asuma, what's in qualify a place for being an household?
Okay, all right. What's in qualify a place for being an household? Now characteristics like you get a family where they live. You get people where they live in the household. All right. Okay. First of all, I think the primary thing. Also, I think the primary thing really qualifies so that will be a household. Now, so we get a known structure, we habitable. All right.
It can be single room, sir.
Yes, it can be a single room. And household not basically means a house. If a big compound, big apartment. No. Okay. Now, a structure, first things first, a structure we get a roof on top and
clear indication say
exactly clear indication say person can live there. Okay. And household. All right. Now you can get different components inside one household. All right. And also, you know the situation where you get a compound, you get a big compound.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You get different apartments. Every apartment in one household because once you get a situation where you get one family, they live like a certain apartment. Now one household will they consider. Now one component inside the household will they consider for B. All right. Because you will get an apartment where you get 5-6 different people where they not sabi themselves. All man they live on their own, all right. So you get wife picking, papa and picking them. Until you get auntie, uncle, and whosoever. Then back in at their apartment, they were in the back in at their apartment. So then components you say inside the household, all right. You can consider them for big component units inside the household because that's separate or individual apartments and within inside the household. But then you get the household on your own. All right.
Okay.
The household on your own. That's a situation where you get one main household, like one compound. Inside it, you get component units we can do it. All right. So you also get a situation where you get places where not just one room, as you say, one room, or probably a room and the parlor. All right. Now in normal day on your own, you can consider as an household as well. And you need for country people every day. If you do any innovation work, you need for country people every day. All right. So whether the place na a situation where you get one big compound where all man did it, or you just get one room and parlor, household as well, and you for consider that.
All right. Okay. In Samuel and Sumana, in the director of communication, public relations, na statistics Leone. We talk about the work one and the country and the scene. So, the second half of the program, we'll go for talk about the 2020 midterm population and housing census, where the president be proclaimed sometimes ago, and is in December 4th, don't be declared as the census night. We can discuss about that, and then other thing. Then at the second half of the program, we will go for the news break, and when we come back, we'll continue the discussion.
CTN helps to build media capacity in Sierra Leone. CTN helps to build media capacity in Sierra Leone.
And so I will welcome you to the second half of the program, sitting Insai Salone, with a show from the frequency 107.3. We'll bring the program come to you today. My name is Sidiki Fofana. Inside the program, I get with me Samuel and Sumana, in the Director of Communication and Public Relations, Statistics Sierra Leone. Good evening and welcome to the second half.
Thank you very much.
As President Bill declared, say December 4th will be the census night, as the country the plan for get the 2020 midterm population and housing census, and it will be the very first one in the country. First, the midterm census. What does this mean?
Okay, I think let's distinguish between a midterm census and a full-blown or primary census, okay? A full or primary census, now the total process of collecting, compiling, analyzing, evaluating, disseminating, and also you publish, all right, results pertaining to demographic and also socioeconomic data of people now the particular country we need to talk about at a particular point in time. All right. Now, within that they mean that you collect data on people in living, within they do, within how they live, what kind of work they do, what kind of host they live, whether the host are tachos, whether the host get zinc, all right. The kind of livelihood, everything will contain how many people live in the household, all right? Now you take into consideration. So now full-blown census only. Now a midterm census, now a census where they in between two primary censuses, all right? Itself, now just what they do, they do the total count of the households in the country. All right, they will collect limited are like small, limited socioeconomic and demographic indicators. All right. So, for example, like in 2015, we collect data on Ebola, on health, on agriculture, for how many people involved in agriculture in the country, how many people are into businesses, education, how many universities we get, the households that we get, how many households that we get, what are the housing types we get, that the country, all of the things that we collect them. We will just get Ebola in 2014, all right? So we take indicators for Ebola, for know how Ebola affect people and all of that. That was in 2015, okay? Now, 2020, because of midterm, if we can get 10 modules where we cover, all right, or 10 topics we cover for ask people then, all right, disability and all of the other one they will ask people then. Because it's a midterm census, we will do half of them because of midterm, so they collect limited. But the total count of the households, all right, the total count of head counts in the country and households in the country could be full like the full blown census. All right, during a midterm, the only difference are that in the collecting limited, that is the indicators. Not only population will be different, also the population will be under control. The population will count are the same, like the full census. Head count is same, households is same, but the indicators, socioeconomic and demographic indicators, like social indicators, how people live their life, all right? What them depend on for feeding, economically, how people live, and the indicators and we know they collect a full, like the full blown census. Now limited one will collect. Is it a full census, the full head counts and of households and also individuals and the households? Now full will do.
Is it that the one we get for dinner this midterm census, the indicators that we be the tariff for talk about? I think the women will not be achieved the full blown census.
No, we achieve them, all right. But again, that did take me to the reasons why we get this. All right, this midterm census, okay? We achieve the indicators but the problem is we need to get this census because first things first, the international best practice, all right? Countries, they track them populations every 5 years. South Africa, they do censuses every 5 years for track them population, okay? Zimbabwe do a midterm census in 2017. Other countries the world over, they do censuses every 5 years, all right? We even get them decennial, all right? We get them decennially, that is every 10 years, okay? But it don't mean say we don't get them if the government won't follow, we get them. If the need they follow, get them, and I will explain the need.
It gets on a discretion as of when we want to forget census or the go past within the constitution. Say,
okay, the Census Act of 2002, and I get an I can leave a copy for you. You can read them. The Census Act, section part 2, section 2 say, the president may from time to time, on the advice of the minister, by order made by statutory instrument, direct the census to be taken of the population in Sierra Leone from time to time. Indicate 10 years, indicate 5 years. All right? But aside from this, let me left this, okay? We get reasons why and I also make this clear. As an institution, StatSL, now we propose for do the census, not to the government proposal. All right, let me get that clear.
But it's proclamation coming from the president.
Yes, because that's what the Constitution say. All right, the Constitution say, and also the Census Act say that the president may from time to time, on the advice of the minister, on the advice of the minister, the Minister of Planning.
Okay.
All right, the Minister of Planning now they supervise statistics earlier. All right, so the Minister of Planning now we they talk to, now they supervise we. So if we get issues or whatsoever it is, now the minister will talk to. So the minister he they talk to the government and the channel landing. All right, he they talk to the president, and we make a presentation. We propose, all right, this census, and we propose them. When Professor Osman Sanko take over in 2018, January of 2018, now he propose this midterm census. So you look at.
So you didn't you not get for do with the president declaring
at all
this one
at all.
So it's just like a confirmation.
Yes, the president are just like ceremonial. How they call them? Not just a ceremonial duty of the president. All right, on we recommendation. All right, not just a ceremonial. That's what for happen. And the president get the right for we can recommend the president say no. They get it right for say no. All right, we can recommend the acceptance. We recommend. We give reasons why we recommend. You go on a cabinet look at the reasons, then see say yes, it is important for me to get a census because of XYZ reasons. We will go into the reasons.
So some pressure groups and the main opposition party, they say, timely.
A midterm census, very timely, because a midterm. All right, the last census at 2015. The next major census we will get, full-blown census at 2035. In between the median at 2020 ends a mid-term census.
Okay.
So if we say you're not timely, you're not correct. All right? You're not correct, it's timely, that's something with international best practice. And when they do the census, we want to evaluate the progress we make so far since 2015. All right? We also want to look at the last census activity. We look at the challenges, reported challenges have been there, if any challenges be there, all right? We try to see how we address them. Importantly, we want to test the use of computer-assisted personal interview data collection. That is CAPI.
That's a new system now.
New system of data collection. All right. We're not to paper-based. Not to like you get a paper, then big paper, then questionnaire, and you go and fill for go collect data. These are the use of computers, tablets for collect data. You ask me at the start of the show, say how will you monitor re-enumerators are really going to the field for make sure that they collect accurate data. This system, now it epitomize monitoring, it personify monitoring, all right? Because every tablet where they go in the field, like every enumeration area, every enumerator will give tablet, then tablet will give GPS coordinates. So we're able to tell, we're able to pinpoint exact. If we send in a Kamabai, we send in a Mabena, wherever we send you, I like na add to each community. If you're not good, we don't say you're not good. Because today we tell we get the situation room, we go show exactly inside the people and they at a particular point in time. You get people in where they now the back end when a quality assurance people where they monitor the data with the kind inside. Then what thing is they do for recap? What thing CAPI they do? Importantly, it fasten the process. It make the process become speedy. Before this time, we will go now field for go collect data. When paper based, what thing that happen is you go collect the data on paper, write all the information on paper. All right? You can store piles and piles of paper. Okay? Now we get another team of people. When how they can transfer that hard copy to soft copy, that is, they can enter now into computer. With CAPI, now instant entry. So data entry will not get need for people who do data entry with CAPI. Now instant entry, as you enter the data in the field, it will register on the server. So all we need for do now quality assurance people for cleaning up the data for see everything is okay. So it is real-time data entry. So that 10 way, before this 10 will take 8 months, 10 months just for do data entry, because you get a separate set of people where they go do the collection, now the field. Then you get people where they can employ back for can do data entry. So that day, he removed data entry in order for the game. Then what thing they do is, it will bring accuracy and credibility in the process. How? Before this time, when a paper-based data collection, if you go in a field, you go collect data. As an enumerator for we, you enter 1,000 na a particular figure, na a particular area. You see, sometimes you enter the number as 1,000, right? For one questionnaire. Me come, very likely also you get for do the data entry, and they can do. Now different person they can do the data entry. That person they look at, you write 1,000. He said this are 20, this person write on a 10 right. Na 30, na 20 on a 10. If that person feels in a 10 right, be enter 1,000 for that 1,000. Now 10 you enter. If you enter 10, you don't get a gap of 990. If you enter 100, you don't get a gap of 900. If you enter, as far as in concern, you see the thing like 101, you don't get a gap of 990. You understand? Or 989, you don't get that gap. So you go get gaps with paper because you are gonna feed you go collect the data. Me can't do the data entry. So now me I was see the figure, that's why the interpreter. So then capital, so if you get enter in capital for 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 situations. Now, boku number. You get boku instances where you will get two representation. Right? Capital, you move down the totally. It will move down the totally. It will make the process speedy. All right? It will make the process credible. It will make the process less cumbersome. It's not difficult at all. All right.
Engagements now one thing. Before you had introduced this system, how the engagements be done? Because this they make pressure groups. They ask the question: how credible is this midterm census going look like?
Okay. By the way, the president just declared the census mega proclamation on the 21st of July.
Mm-hmm.
Today is the 10th of August. 21st of July to the 10th of August, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, about 18 days or so, 18 days, all right? 21st to the 1st, now 10 days. 1st to the 10th, about 18, 19 days. No that way, all right? So, we will need for send invites out, when we already do, all right? To different people for the technical and steering committee and also the advisory committee, from civil society, parliamentarians, media, tribal heads, chiefdom people, the paramount chiefs, everybody, political parties, when a stakeholder. Mm-hmm. We don't send letters to them all right? So we engage. We don't go start engagement if the president or proclaimer. We don't go start them if the president or proclaim. What I will tell you we don't do so far. Now that we don't do locality verification. We engage with the chiefs because locality verification, I put it in simple terms. Now for go cross-check or for verify, if places then known places where get known name, distinct name, if they still exist, if they don't become deserted, if new localities, new places they don't emerge, all right, or them places they still remain constant. So you get places then, towns then, villages, districts, chiefdoms of the country, where some don't become obsolete, don't become deserted, or like this district or towns that don't eat into some, so they still exist. Then you get new one that we don't establish. Where before, sometimes houses are not the daily, but they don't create new localities there. So you need to go for there. Now the first step in the census process, we don't do that there. We don't verify with the chiefs. They don't tell we all the localities that we don't get now the places that in chiefdom them. They don't tell we say now the X amount, now X amount, now X amount you get. All right. Now we chiefdom. Now them places that we don't verify. They don't verify the section chief there and all of that. Now we don't do that day. The report for that day will be out very soon. We go put out the report so people will get from know the number of localities we'll get that say alone. All right.
Okay.
Then we therefore go back now for the, of course, we don't put out advert for the cartographic mapping. The recruitment process, we almost complete the recruitment process for that day. We send out cartographer, we send out people who will go map the country, we will go do a quick count of the households via the cartographic mapping. All right? They will map the country. Okay? Now, then people, before this term, and I know say a lot of people in the say there is a time constraint. There is no time constraint in this. Before this term, we go spend 6 months on cartographic mapping. You know why? Sometimes we spend 2 months at the field for do the for go collect the data, for go do the questionnaire, and for go map the country. We can store. For the cartographic mapping, we can store. They will employ people in back for can convert the hard copy into soft copy for can data entry. Now, even the cartographic mapping we do, right? Now real time. Now with copy. So, for example, we spend 1 month at the field. No sooner we done the cartographic mapping at the field, we will go straight into the census taking. You know why? Because it's instant. That time way, that delay working day, where somebody say that 6 months, that 5 months for do cartographic mapping, it's no day. You know, for day.
One person saying, I don't take a step forward because you mentioned saying, I don't forget an engagement with stakeholders, political parties, the media, and other groups. Is it that it would be nice for them to get the engagement before everyone at the taking steps there? Because into the engagements in the therefore figure out within them people and they think of this midterm census we want to introduce for the first time. But if we not get the engagement, it's then we don't go into cartographic mapping and all of that thing. It sounds like we don't go ahead of what's in.
Well, we don't go ahead. That's not the fact. We don't go ahead, but now for several reasons we don't go ahead. One, we always say time constraint. All right, we are constrained for time and everything. We don't start cartographic mapping yet, but we don't put out the equipment for cartography. We don't put out adverts for the cartographic.
Now,
certainly. Now we already don't start the engagement. All right, even tomorrow. I don't want to name the list of civil society or whosoever we meet with. We got several meetings lined up tomorrow. We'll engage people away as stakeholders in this process.
So, we have to look out for recommendation into the engagement there?
Well, not just for recommendation. Not just for recommendation, no more. Yeah? We want make them be part of the process. For monitor the process, for make them own the process, all right? For make the views them on how they want to go better, because this is the national exercise, not a one-man business. Not to be them or they sit down, say they'll do this. If you want for doing, you're not going to call people, but because we open that kind space there, now because we want other people and get a say. We are the experts then. We get the technical expertise. But you also need the views of people then on how you can better them. Because say what you may, you get lots of brilliant ideas, lots of brilliant people really out there who will contribute as well. Okay, to the process. And you could get committees, advisory committee, people of all cadres in society. All facets of society, they did another advisory committee. The technical committee, expert from different fields, would bring them kind of the committee. All right? The publicity committee, of course, where they under the purview. All right? We go get media people, we go get civil society, we go get the artists then, because it's the publicity, you got to bring all hands on deck. All right, for making you sensitize people then on this census. So we've already started engagement. All right, but we will move a step ahead because time is of essence. All right, we get time. This now August, September, November, December. Now barely 5 months. All right, barely 5 months. So we also get some issue.
So is it that we're not doing in a rush?
We're not doing in a rush. We're not doing in a rush. But we get for move ahead because certain things that we need to happen. All right, we can do the engagement simultaneously with the work we do. Now, even if we say the wait, the people who will engage with the political parties, the civil society, the media, not to get for going to the cartographic mapping. All they will do is to monitor. All right, not to get for doing. But then just to go for monitor for CC, they will go on fine. That is what it's in a collaboration. So with the brilliant kind of the process, that is why I said we don't start the cartographic mapping yet. All right, we still lay on recruitment for it. So once we are done with recruitment, we go on a field for the cartographic mapping. We are taking these people along, make them go see how the process they happen, how the things they go. So then say we validate the process. In fact, I'll tell you this, MCDK, when we put out the advert for the cartographic mapping, you know what we did? We don't want that situation where CDK they fit on how you don't born, how you don't live. Then put in a can you go for go work there. You'll be challenged. You know why? Number one, because of cartographic mapping, you get for going into enumeration areas, you get for going into localities. One, you might not be afraid with the localities now. So then put in can you go, it means we don't get the kind feedback we expect. We don't get the kind quality we expect for get with the work. We don't get them. We don't get the kind of output what they expect from you, because you don't sabi the terrain, you don't sabi the localities, you don't understand the people. They will take you like you're a stranger. All right. So what we are doing with this particular cartography map, we could call the census the people census. What are we doing like that? People then were born like the district and regions of their origin. Now then they apply. Okay. If you're not born at Kono, or you know to residents of Kono, you know they apply in Kono. You apply in Kono, where they take you. Right? If you be a local of the place, because you never own the process. We wanted people to own the process. We wanted to feel part and parcel of the process. So tomorrow, if we get issues, then we can go back to the chief. Now, when people not to say, because what's the they accuse you now that when people go on a freedom, when people go on a board, go work on a McKinney, people go on McKinney, go work on a Dugu, go work on a Falaba, go work on this, go work on that. So
We want for eliminate all of them things and then we could get. We want for conduct these engagements. We don't already engage with people. And we own the process. And we could say for the cartographic mapping, you for apply the district of birth or region.
Okay, so this mid-term population and housing census 2020, how much would now the same required 3 weeks?
For the cartographic mapping?
No, for this census we get for
the actual census. Yes, not 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Not 2 weeks, yes, not 2 weeks.
Okay, so how now hope for achieve within the moment?
Okay,
2 weeks.
All right, okay. As I say, we get enumeration areas, as I did say before. So, for example, we get 18,000 enumeration with projection in excess of 16,000 enumeration areas we expect forget. But we will confirm Landy when we go do the cartographic mapping. Now we will confirm the amount of enumeration areas at the country. Okay. So if we get 16,000 plus enumeration areas, it means we go for employ 16,000 plus people because the 1 person per 1 enumeration area. So we no constraint for. So for example, you then give for cover 80 to 120 households, but in 2 weeks, if you cover if na 2020 if you cover per day 2020 households, now you count from one day to the other. Now you count inside one enumeration area. So God in 2 weeks, 20 times 14. Then they way they above safe.
Anything you do in terms of data collection will different from the old type of collection when data collection. To this new one,
yes, a lot of things and then when you I tell you about copy now before this time when you they use paper, likely you they say the paper can chair. Alright, you can misplace the paper.
So this is about tablets.
These are tablets. Let's say you like the tablet, it goes water goes so can. So that you don't collect the information. This is real time. No situation. The tablets, all the information, the tablet all lost, so not see the information again. Paper. Where the paper loss? Where they do paper questionnaire? Where the paper loss? You don't loss out. No way, no they do it either. This one are real time. Where the person in the field, if they enter the inside the kind of system. If that person in tablet loss, the information already in the system.
Okay.
All right, it's in the system already. So this one is more accurate, is more credible. This one, all the issues,
so you know nothing for fear about.
Nothing that they were afraid.
What the general public for fear about in terms of the credibility?
Nothing that they were people for afraid. Because this one, if I make this clear, Sidiki, with the cons people, the reference in at the 4th. The 4th of December. Now the reference date. So what does that mean that we count you also you sleep on the night of the 4th of December? Like explain the small before I know the time the between. Like explain the small. So for example, if on the 4th of December you sleep like you mama in Os now Wellington, then they count you now Wellington now mama in Os that you sleep. I like no so that you day. I like no so you leave. But the 4th of December now they meet you, now they count you. So if the 4th of December you sleep in my Os now Wellington, you move from Wellington, you go McKinney, who say you papa day. When the enumerators and Kana McKinney say you papa day, they ask who that they sleep now this Os now McKinney on the 4th of December. I like you know McKinney at that time day, that particular point in time day. Because you not sleep now McKinney on the 4th now you papa in Os. They need to account for you on the 4th or now you papa in Os.
That's a compromise. That's a compromise.
No compromise, sorry. Then they account for you Usa you sleep. So Usa you sleep, then you might Os now Wellington inside feature because we don't want to let people in double count.
Okay.
Say the person you sleep here, you come here, you go under, you go then count and back, you come under, you go under, then count and back. Then they not get for day.
Okay.
All right. We get things and mechanisms already put in place. And we can't divulge and but we get systems and things they already put in place. We even get situation where this Census Act, this one, they indicate fines then and also conviction also imprisonment for people who do wrong information. So yes, they now this Census Act, and we get liberty for use this census. So I'm not able to of course, they get all the facilities and they for track.
So for example, you mean a simple then a big false name.
Yes, yes. How? We get situations of that nature where we go do for track. No, you not thinking for you mean first name, just the name. All right. We work in consonance with NCIA. All right, then get database of people and their names. Okay, as well.
But in case another bad certificate.
We verify.
I'm not registered to NCIA.
No, you don't register to NCIA. You don't mean say you get people like, okay. The other thing is you get people away for validate.
Okay.
If we get a situation where we become suspicious of your name or probably the number of people away you try for account for and all of that, we be at liberty for incorporating the chiefs.
Okay.
The chief, the pastor, the imam then in the area, then for big people like with extent say that people are credible, they for account for you. Okay, ask them for validate.
Okay, quick one. What you want to for achieve?
All right. With this census, very good. We hope to achieve a lot of things. All right. Now we
just short.
Yes, we hope say with this census we're going for this mapping. We're going to get a credible population and housing census. We're going to be reflective of the views of every Sierra Leonean in this country.
All right. Okay. In Samuel and Sumana, the Director of Communication and Public Relations, na Statistics Sierra Leone, they talk to me. Today we can talk about the upcoming midterm population and housing census 2020, where the president been done do a proclamation, and that December 4th will be the census night. Samuel and Sumana don't talk much about the census, how we get for look like, and the benefits we get for bring come to the country. In case you miss part or all of the program, tune in tomorrow after the 12 o'clock noon bulletin for the repeat broadcast. We will bring the program come to you tonight. Biren Nasidiki Fofana.
You've been listening to a repeat broadcast of CTN Insai Salone.